Okay, I don't know about you, but after the Netflix Daredevil TV show, I became one of the biggest Daredevil fans because he's such a good character. He's such a good character, and he's in Spider-Man PS4. He exists. Holy shit. Matt Murdock exists, okay, first off, he's blind. He has to be blind. He's not an adult and a lawyer, and he's not blind. He has to be Daredevil. There's no way the Avengers exist, and he's not Daredevil. Insomniac. Listen, I don't know if you watch my videos. I know you love Evan, and I assume that you love Slickmoth as well. I don't know if you watch my videos. Please make a Daredevil game after you make like a Spider-Man series. If you make 3 Spider-Man games and then make a Daredevil game, I think everybody would cry. Everybody would be, oh my god. Oh my god, it would be so amazing. There's so much you can do with the, oh my god. Okay, they already had a canceled Daredevil game, and I think that having them make a new one where maybe it's very similar to the Arkham style of gameplay, but much more of a brawler boxer type of way, a much more amateur type of character that they could work with, and of course, if they want to, they can make him do parkour. Listen, I don't know about you, but I'm completely fine with Daredevil doing crazy ass parkour shit to get around the city. Also, he can use his of course gadgets and stuff to do that as well, if they want to do that in, of course, the game, if they make a Daredevil game. I mean, there's just so much possibilities, and I know that it's just an Easter egg, and I know that the Avengers thing is just an Easter egg. But Jesus, out of all of the characters that would be teased, Daredevil would be the most likely to get a video game, right? I mean, out of all of them, Iron Man, it would be very hard to do. Hulk, I mean, how are you going to do that without making it just, oh yeah, I get to destroy everything, and make it like a good story that isn't just, you know, destroy. I know Hulk destruction is pretty good, but I'm talking about, like, you know, modern day open world side missions and everything. I'm talking about like Spider-Man PS4 Arkham Knight quality. Like, I want a Daredevil game like that. And if, oh my god, holy god, if Insomniac was even allowed to do that, it would be so crazy. It would be amazing. It would be very, very fun. There would be multiple ways that you could do certain things in that game. But, you know, Daredevil Easter egg is just a small little thing in this game compared to everything in this game, and it's crazy. But, I mean, would you guys want a Daredevil game? I know I want it. I know when I mentioned it. I mentioned it in my video, the last video. Or a few videos ago, actually. And it was like in the middle of the video, and everybody was just like, yes, I want a Daredevil game. Yes, I want a Daredevil game. I mentioned it for like 5 seconds, and everybody wants it. And I want it too. And I think it would be very, very cool. And I don't know what developer can do it. I feel like Insomniac can do it. If they were given the proper tools and the right villains and the right, you know, source material to craft a Daredevil game, I think they would be able to do it. And I think Rocksteady, if Rocksteady was ever allowed to do any Marvel games, because, you know, they're owned by WB, I think a Daredevil game would be right up their alley. I mean, they already have the mechanics for it. All they have to figure out the traveling system for sure. I mean, that's probably the only big problem with Daredevil. If you're going to have a Daredevil game, how are you going to make it an open world game where he can just travel wherever he wants? He can't glide. He can't swing like Spider-Man. You know, he's a man, and he's blind, and he could run, but that's about it. You would have to really confine the space, and I think that would work very well for Daredevil. Just give him a lot of stealth sections, make him very, very sneaky, make him very reliant on his senses, of course, his hearing and stuff like that. And you could even have the hearing mechanic from like The Last of Us have a little cameo in here, right? You can have that as one of your mechanics if you really wanted to, hearing through walls or hearing through certain objects, so you can actually get the surprise on some enemies and stuff. That would be very fun. And I don't know what they would do with the villains. I'm not the biggest enthusiast. Of course, they already set up Kingpin in Spider-Man PS4, so if they want to do that, they can bring in Kingpin for Daredevil. Of course, Bullseye, you would have to have Bullseye in there. If you don't have Bullseye in there, that's just kind of weird. And of course, there would be obscure characters that Daredevil has fought in the past, and I think a lot of people would enjoy. The one character that I think a lot of people would be shocked by, if of course Insomniac made this game and they wanted to do it, would be like Punisher. Like if they did like a Punisher side mission. And I know that, of course, Punisher isn't a Daredevil villain, and he really isn't a Daredevil character, but Punisher recently has really sprung off of Daredevil in terms of, I would say, TV show, of course. I mean, the main Marvel cinematic universe, they got into contact with each other like that. So, you know, they are connected, and if they want to do that in the game, they can. They always had storylines in the comics, and if they, I mean, that'd be very fun to see some type of back and forth between Daredevil and the Punisher in this type of game, where maybe you would have to fight him to stop him from killing people. And of course, you can tackle matured themes, and it would be a different game, but it certainly wouldn't be a bad game if Insomniac made it. I think Insomniac, if they were given this property, I think, one, they need to make it how it is, brutal. Like, it can't be toned down. I think it has to be rated M, like, for sure. Like, if there's like no other way, unless you make it really toned back in terms of violence and gore compared to the comics. And of course, the more of the mature themes like substance abuse and, you know, stuff like that, if you want to introduce characters that were like that in the comics. Now, it would be very fun to see. I want it. He exists in this universe. Why not? I think that there should be a Daredevil game. I want to hear what you guys think. Tell me in the comments below. Do you guys want a Daredevil game? Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video.